Welcome, my beautiful souls and my fellow Geminis. This is going to be your November 2025 reading. Um, this is for Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, as I have, Gemini Rising. You could certainly have a combination. Definitely for those intuitively guided, thank you for paying attention to your intuition. Your spirit guides probably nudged you here. You could certainly be in love with a Gemini. Same thing. Your spirit guides probably nudged you here because there's probably messages for you. Um, I have a feeling this is going to be a really good reading. I just got done doing your horoscope for November and it looked really good, both in love and money. So, I'm excited to do your reading. Um, so, Gemini, what we're going to do is Mother Mary will open up your reading. We're going to use the Gilded Tarot to clarify and go deeper. This is why the readings are longer because, instead of doing like an extended reading where you have to pay for it, I leave it all on the table for you. Like I put all my energy into your reading. I become you. I am you right now. We are going to let the crystal vision be your main spread. Usually I use these for clarifiers, but something called for me to use them as your main spread. So I'm excited to see what comes out. Um, we will also use the major arcanas. Those will be for like bullet points or, many times they tell their own beautiful little story. But just remember, everything will relate back to the main spread. I have the clarifying love situations and the romance angels all ready to go if love comes up. But when doesn't it? So let's go ahead and get into your reading. I just want to get into your reading. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. And let's start with Mother Mary. And anybody who's new, first of all, welcome everyone. You have I don't know, thousands of videos to choose from, and I'm honored that you chose mine. Um, but anyone who doesn't know, I shuffled the decks for quite a while before I begin a reading. That's when I'm really just connecting with our guides and opening myself up to your messages. But I do like to give them a shuffle with you here also. All right, Mother Mary, my beautiful Geminis, and those intuitively guided. Look at they all came out together. It's like Mother Mary has been waiting. All right, we have home, home. I trust and follow my divine guidance about my home. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Home. We have sobriety. My clear mind is easily able to focus and concentrate. And then last but certainly not least, we have Jesus. I pray for Jesus' help and guidance with this situation. Some of you, it can be something is happening like inside your home. There could be whether sobriety is calling for you or another. Something that tempts us, let's say, that takes away our clear mind. I feel like if you're praying for help with that, I feel like you're receiving that. Like your prayers are being heard. Your affirmations um are being heard. So just keep putting them out there. Keep putting them out there. All right. Normally I leave these on the table. Um but lately I've been putting them away, but I haven't turned the other way just in case we want to bring them back out. All right, let's bring the major arcana in and let's get the bullet points of this reading. All right. Gemini, you've been showing up in a lot of people's reading this month. You know, I usually find there's one sign that shows up in many readings. And this month, it's you. In good ways, by the way. We have the Chariot. First of all, your neighbor, Cancer. But you know what I love about the Chariot? It really represents your unlimited potential. What you want to remember about the Chariot, though, is it's driven by your intentions. You know, if you believe that you possess unlimited potential, then you possess unlimited potential. The Chariot only asks for one thing, though, and that's balance. Balance of the feminine and the masculine within ourselves, the shadow and the light. And once we have that balance, truly unlimited potential. And then we have, interesting, the moon, Cancer's ruler. So double Cancer already. Some of you might be connected to a Cancer. But this is actually Pisces card. The moon talks about a few different things. It can talk about uncertainties, but for some reason, I'm not feeling that's what it means for you. I feel like it's talking more about dreamy type energy that you're about to enter. Like, I don't feel like there's anything to fear here, but fear itself. All right. Interesting how we have double Cancer, though. Hello, world. Hello, next chapter. So this tells you that something has come to completion, but I feel like you know that because you're in the Chariot. So I feel like you're ready for what's next. And the world's energy is quite a beautiful energy. It's very spiritual. You know, I feel like it's when you are your most spiritual. I feel like you're believing again, like you're believing in miracles. And I feel like you're going to find them. Like, this feels powerful. Out of 3 cards, the power that's coming from them really is, I don't want to say unbelievable, but I feel the energy. In this portal, this person is the Fool. So it may require a leap of faith. But I feel like you're ready. Like, I feel like you're ready. All right, let's put these up here. And we will see. We'll definitely know why they're here throughout the reading. But beautiful. Beautiful energy. You know, I guess the main thing would be like what has come to completion. And are you allowing it? Because you have to allow it. You know, that's free will. And it feels like something that really had an expiration date on it anyway. You know? All right. Crystal Vision. Let's see why I chose you to do the main spread. Not that it's not that I chose it. It chose me. I even hesitated. Then I thought, nope. Oh, I feel like a card just came out. So, where is this Chariot taking you? We know it's taking you to a new chapter. Wow, look at that. Speaking of your major arcana. the Lovers. Are you heading that way? You know, the Lovers is ahead of a hard decision. But let's face it, it's chemistry. It's undeniable. We do have the Ten of Swords. Well, I'm hoping that's what came to completion. It must have. Ten of Swords can talk about, being in a repeat pattern with someone. It doesn't have to mean love. It just means that you're the one who took these daggers, dagger after dagger. But I do feel like for a time, I became submissive. I just accepted them. Sometimes it's easier just to accept the uncomfortableness than move into change. But something is like enough is enough. All right, let's keep going. We have the Seven of Swords. All right, so now I have a feeling I know why something came to completion. And then we have the King of Cups. Can be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But it doesn't have to be any of that. I have to tell you, well, let's get our I'm going to do 5 across. I'm going to do more than one row, but I want to see what mirrors the Lovers. The Three of Cups. The first thing I'm going to say is this king may have had a drinking problem. I feel like this king, I don't feel like this king is part of your future. I feel like this king is part of your past. Now, that doesn't mean there's not another king or queen, because I don't feel like this king is, let's just say, your true love. Maybe I thought they were. And don't we all? You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, we all think that. But this person proved the opposite to you. The Seven of Swords, that untrustworthy energy. It's called the thief in the night. Um, Sitting right next to this Ten of Swords. I feel like someone may have not only had a drinking problem, but a trust problem. And I say that because I often feel in the Seven of Swords, like if I'm trying to get truth from someone in that energy, I'm not going to get it. And the reason why I'm not going to get it is I just feel like I don't want to suffer the consequences of my actions. And I know there's consequences. I feel like this person had done, you know, you must have been in love with them. And they were probably in love with you too. But they're just not your right person. I just know it. They're just not your right person. So you learn some valuable things though. And I feel like number one is trusting energy. I have a feeling you felt that something was going on behind the scenes. And I'm not saying they cheated. I don't know. I'm just saying I can't trust them. You put the Three of Cups with the King of Cups with this energy, these swords, then I feel like this is someone who not only probably drinks, but then probably acts bad when they drink. You know what I mean? Becomes like a flirt. The King of Cups next to the Seven of Swords is like willing, like I show my, or, let's just call them a flirt. I feel like they have robbed you of your joy. But I feel like the majority of you know that now, and you have moved on. I do not feel the other person in the lovers is this king. I feel like this is someone else. I can just tell by the coloring alone. It's someone else. And the lovers, usually you'll see the lovers both naked. And that means both are free to be their authentic self. Matter of fact, that's exactly what you need to be, is your authentic self. And for those who, like this king, didn't value that, well, someone else will. So I feel like someone robbed you of your joy, but the lesson may have been just to say enough is enough, to jump in that chariot. What's coming to completion? This hardship, this uncertainty about someone. I don't know what you're doing. I don't trust you, when I'm not with you, even when I'm with you. All right, let's keep going. Sorry, King, but I kind of feel like you're getting, look at that, the wheel in reverse. And I'm going to tell you, I know exactly why this came in reverse. This is not stopping your destiny, right? This is about your destiny and the wheel moving. In reverse, the wheel is not moving. But I feel like what it's saying is I may have thought this person, like the two of us were destined to be together. And I feel like your guides are like, nope. They're merely a lesson, a stepping stone. That's what I'm hearing. They were a stepping stone. They put a wedge in that wheel. And now you're removing that wedge. And that wheel will start moving again. If you haven't removed that wedge, this may be the time. This is the time. And that's what the world signifies. Like something has come to completion. Look at everything showing in reverse now. The Page of Cups makes sense coming under the Ten of Swords. I often feel the Page of Cups is like our inner child. This is really the energy of, loving oneself, loving who I am. In reverse. So not only did they rob your joy, it made you feel less than. Damn them. Interesting. Seven of Pentacles under the Seven of Swords. Okay, so, like I said earlier, if we look at some of these difficult situations we've been through, and we understand that many things, not everything, has a completion date. I feel like we've reached that completion date. Um, I have a feeling, boy, I have to just say, the more cards we get, the more I dislike this king. Because I have a feeling, I have a feeling that you're just looking for stability. You're looking for someone who's stable. And I feel like you feel stable to me. Like your ability to create and really create abundance for yourself, it's here. But I feel like the Seven of Swords, listen, if I'm not taking your money, then I'm coming in between you and your creative nature. Maybe because it's hard not to focus on these 10 swords and 7 swords. It's hard to get out of that mind space, especially if you love this person. Some of you may have stayed for the money. And what I mean by that, I don't mean like you're money hungry. I mean, it could have been a relationship where you thought you were building your lives together. And I'm sorry. I just don't feel like this is your forever person. If anything, they could be a karmic soulmate because I do feel like you're learning. And sometimes what we're learning is what we do not want. But through that, we're learning how to read energy. And that's what you want to trust. Like don't shut your heart down because of someone else who just doesn't know how to love, puts themselves before their partner, so to speak. Don't let that stop you from your destiny. That wedge that I feel this king put in this wheel, you just need to remove it. And that action alone, I feel like puts you in the chariot. Some of you may be making a physical move or kicking someone out of a house. Look at that, the chariot again. It's like get in your car and go. Now, when I say that, I meant that for the king, but I also feel it for you. Triple Cancer here now. Let's see if it's mirroring the wheel. Your destiny. The Page of Pentacles. So, the Page of Pentacles to me is all about a learning experience. And I know not everybody loves this type of message, but as souls in these human bodies, we're here to learn. We're here to grow. And that's really what the Page of Pentacles speaks about. This has been a learning experience. This isn't the end. It's just the end of this and the beginning of something brand new. I feel like if you're going through this right now, but you know that you want it to come to an end, I feel like, because I do feel like your creativity has been blocked. And I get it because I feel like your focus, and it's hard not to focus upon what this king is doing. By the way, this could also be a queen. But I'm just telling you that this king is not your lover. Well, and when I say lover, I mean in the lovers. I don't feel this is the other person. This was like the stepping stone, the lessons that will eventually, I feel, help you, well, come across the right person. I was going to say find, but I don't feel like you need to be looking, to be honest. I feel like Divine's got control of that. This wheel's going to start moving again once you take that wedge out. And again, it could be an energetic wedge, but nonetheless, You know, what I would ask yourself, is there someone in your life that is causing you sadness, taking your joy away, shutting down your creative avenues? And you're such a creative sign. Like, I feel like they're coming between you and your money. And I feel like you have the ability to create true financial success for yourself. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. The Six of Pentacles, which makes sense. You know, and this may be the lesson. This talks about give and take, right? The learning of giving and taking, receiving, giving and receiving. But usually, Six of Pentacles means things are not equal. That means someone is the giver and someone is the taker. It's pretty clear who is who here. The High Priestess underneath that, your intuition. Your intuition is trying to tell you. Some of you already know this. Some of you, I feel like you've moved beyond this. And it's like the wheel is now starting to spin. Where is it taking you? Well, I feel like number one, you can take the lessons of the past and you can create from them, like that wisdom. So for some of you, you may be helping others. You know, and I feel like I don't want to put a limit on it, but I feel like, you know, like you were the student and now you're the teacher. In the exam you had to pass was not easy, but I feel you did. I feel you did. You know, you can't make someone give you love, and you shouldn't have to. And I don't know why I feel angry at this king or queen. Well, I know why. Because I feel like they left you in this state. But I do feel like you're going to recover. I do feel like the day will come where you probably won't even think about this king again. I know if you're in it or you're in love with this king, you may not agree with me, which is fine. That's just what I'm feeling. All right, let's bring in the Gilded Tarot and let's go ahead and go over this. Let's go deeper. Okay, I felt like these cards wanted to come out. Hello, world. You know, this is great news because the world is now coming right over the lovers. And the lovers is actually following the world. So this new chapter is meant for you. It makes me feel like your spirituality is alive. Someone else's isn't. But that was then. We're talking about now where we're going. I'm telling you that in the world's chapter, coming over the lovers, number one, it probably is going to be a head over heart decision. But then once you make that decision, and let's say you choose to say no more, then this world is signifying what I feel like is someone that will last for the rest of your life. Like, I feel like this will be a commitment that lasts until you die, if not beyond. 10 of Wands, but in reverse. Well, that kind of goes back to that Six of Pentacles where it was kind of uneven. Same thing. This is someone who did not want to pull their weight within a relationship. And I'm saying a relationship doesn't have to be love. It just feels like love to me. But they're definitely someone not pulling their weight. That's just the bottom line. And, it's interesting because in the Ten of Wands, I always feel subconsciously that someone is wishing for a tower. And it may be because I know it's best for this to end, but I'm having a hard time ending it. Well, the universe hears you. And, they can't come in between you and your free will, but they can definitely send a lot of what feels like resistant energy, but it's to help you make this move. It's helping you to realize that what you're thinking is true. And I mean about this person, but you know that. This is you putting down that responsibility. It's really freeing. It frees you. Not only does it take the weight off of your shoulders, I feel like those 10 swords that are in your back, I feel like they will also fall out. Because again, I just, listen, this king, I'm not going to say it wasn't meant to happen. I don't like how it happened, but in the same breath, I feel like you're finding your power, your strength like never before. I love that the Ten of Wands just came in reverse next to the World and over the Lovers. If your intuition is telling you something, believe it. Don't second guess it. It doesn't mean that you have to make a change. It's up to you. But believe what your intuition is telling you. Your guides would never say, well, you must make this change. It has to be free will. But I also feel at the same time, it's like a soul's lesson. Some people be like, why? Why would my soul want that type of lesson, that difficult lesson? Well, because you're probably a wise old soul. You probably just haven't met your true self yet. But your true self is out there. And I have a feeling you're about to meet them. So your soul, before we come into this lifetime, there are certain lessons that we want to learn. There can be karma that we need to pay back from previous lifetimes. This could be that karma. And this is you paying it back. But this is you paying it back boom, paid. And that means you don't repeat it. Nor do future generations. Because let's face it, if this is talking about love, and this love is just so difficult. And if I have a family, well, then they see that. Like if I have a daughter, I do have a daughter. you wouldn't want your child to think like, okay, this is what love looks like. I would be honest. No, this is not what love looks like. We have interesting King of Pentacles. The only one that's turned around. King of Pentacles. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Six of Cups. Interesting. Six of Cups is mirroring the World and the Lovers. We have, looks like we're getting everything. The Four of Swords, beautiful. Coming over the reversal of your wheel. Well, that alone turns the wheel around. Healing. And I know you will heal from this. I just know it. Eight of Pentacles. The Hierophant. That makes sense. And then the Eight of Cups. Too bad we didn't get one more, but we'll still get that one. So let's read what we have on the table. So I love the Six of Cups mirroring again the Lovers and the World. Six of Cups talks about nostalgia, treasured memories. There could be someone, someone of yesteryear, or even a soulmate that you haven't met yet. But once you do, like there'll be a sense of familiar energy with them. This healing, I feel like, is beautiful. I knew it was going to happen. And I feel like what that does, it opens up everything. It opens up your heart. It opens up your creativity. And I feel like eventually it's inviting someone else in. Eight of Cups over the Chariot, I feel like either you're moving, they're moving. Listen, this is you walking away from the emotional turmoil. The Eight of Cups is finding that emotional clarity. And this person is heading towards the Nine of Cups, inner harmony and fulfillment of wishes. You have the Nine of Pentacles right above it. And I definitely feel for some of you, it is now independent energy. Like, I feel like for those who have said no more, listen, you may not be ready for love yet, but love is still going to show. But your creative juices start flowing. Nine of Pentacles is successful self-employment. And, it doesn't have to be self-employment. It can be like getting a raise. But I have to say, I feel it's more about your creativity opening up. And you may just receive like epiphanies out of nowhere that pique your interest. And you decide to follow that line. And next thing you know, you have a business. Now let's go back a card to the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, that's also attached to the Seven of Swords. So the Hierophant wants you to ask, is this person's morals aligned with mine? I can tell you they're not. But you have to ask that. Do we have the same ultimate outcome? Do we both want the same thing? I feel the same thing. Like, I don't want to keep harping on this king, but I feel like the answer is no. And many times with this type of energy, I truly feel like this person doesn't know how to love anyway. This person feels very selfish. Like, it's about me. It's about me. And even if I loved you, I still put me before you. Wow, good for you. But now I'm leaving. What do you mean you're leaving? I'm leaving. I'm done. I've had enough. And someone is jumping in their car. And you may be packing that car. Or you're telling someone else, get in your car and get out. I do feel like the minute that this comes to an end, again, that wedge is taken out of that wheel. The healing process begins. I feel like the healing process has already begun. Let's put it this way. Once you are very truthful with yourself, the healing process begins. You know, I feel like this reading is saying, take the blame off yourself. Like, don't think that you're unlovable because someone else just has a problem with love. Someone else has a problem, being a couple. That's their issue. It's not your issue. You just so happen to get kind of caught in their web. And I feel like you tried everything you could. So you should be able to walk away without regret. Don't even say, what was I thinking? Because you were learning. You were growing. And unfortunately, they were part of the lesson. But here comes the blessings after the lessons. And that's the way it works. We learn these difficult lessons. Well, get ready for some beautiful blessings. Some of you may be heading back to like a hometown. And there may be someone that, that you've thought about, but maybe haven't connected with. And then you do. And then you do. This King of Pentacles up here, who really is right in the middle of the reading, is coming under Taurus's card. It can be Taurus, but Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Let me tell you what I feel this king came out for. Because I do feel like you were questioning, like, one's morals. And you're just realizing that chances are they don't have many morals. Their morals are me. Well, this King of Pentacles in the upright, and he would have came reverse if he was meant to be reverse. King of Pentacles is loyal. And I feel like that is major. King of Pentacles is stable. And I feel that is major. King of Pentacles may not be someone who talks like all emotional, but they show you their love. They show it to you. Like my boyfriend is the King of Pentacles, and he cooks for me every night. And if that is not showing love, I don't know what is, because that is something I don't like to do. So for him to take that chore on himself, and I never asked him to, he just did. That's the Italian in him. That's what I'm talking about. That's how the King of Pentacles shows you, through their actions. And I feel like you need that. Now, you want to talk about matching morals. Here we go. Here we are. And I'm wondering if this King of Pentacles is also who's ever, in the Six of Cups. But I don't know that you're even thinking that way yet. Yet. Let me make that clear. Let's face it, it takes a moment to get over the bullshit that you were just in. But then once you do, and sometimes, it's funny because as soon as I said that, I felt the spirit is saying, not always, Sandy, not always. The freedom alone, the freedom from worrying, the freedom of not having to worry, the freedom of your creativity and creating success for yourself. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles with the Hierophant over it. Well, we have the Nine of Pentacles first, which would make sense because that means I usually feel nines are independent energy. Unless it's like the Nine of Wands, that's reflection. But this is about you building up those pentacles. And for some of you, this could be something you went to school for. And that may be, for some of you, that may be where you are moving. You may have just created happy memories there. And I don't feel like everyone's moving. But I do feel like there's a few. All right, let's see if we get one more. Or really whatever wants to come out. Because I think I'm going to go below also. Well, there you go. Just made its choice for me. Hello, Knight of Cups. Hello, unexpected cup of fulfillment. And look what it's following. You walking away. You finding emotional clarity. Enough. We don't have to know what every cup stood for. Some was just free will. This is you with enough emotional clarity. This is you heading towards the sun. Someone may find you still a little bit broken. But that's not gonna matter. This Knight of Cups is coming under the Six of Cups. And this Knight of Cups is mirroring the Four of Swords. Okay. Eight of Swords. The Hermit. We're in the year of the Hermit. Moving into the next chapter. The Three of Wands. Beautiful. And then the Queen of Swords. So probably you. And I feel like this is you. It's interesting because there is one queen, I don't know what deck it's in, where it's the Queen of Swords, and she's holding a mic in her hand, and she literally does a mic drop. Like, this is my piece. Accept it or don't. Doesn't matter to me. Queen of Swords is about integrity, truth. It matters to you that people speak the truth. Because when they don't, excuse my language, but it fucks with your head. So you need to reclaim this. I feel like it's so important, for your own, well, in a way, health. So we have the Eight of Swords, which is a self-created prison. It's coming over the reversal of that wheel. And I feel like this is those who are resistant to change. And for some of you, these walls were built out of fear of love. And I get it. I get it. I've been there. But it doesn't serve you. because it is a self-created prison. And it kind of holds you in place. I feel like there's a different way of looking at this, a different perspective. And that's kind of what the Hermit is giving you, the spiritual perspective of this situation and of what's to come. The Hermit has gone through the dark night of the soul. And in that dark night of the soul, the Hermit was seeking the light. And the Hermit finds the light, but he finds it within oneself. I don't need a savior. I can save myself. This lantern that the Hermit holds is the wisdom. It's the wisdom of your experiences, of all your lives. And when you seek the light, you shall find the light. This is also, I feel like, representing, which I feel is so important. Maybe this is why I've done so many readings and podcasts about the universal year 9 and what it means, right? It is that final reflection. We literally are moving into a year 1. How do I want my next 9 years to look? It's for real. And it is a question you should be asking yourself. How do I want my next 9 years to look? The same? If life is fine, then life is fine. This lantern is truth. This lantern also helps others to find their way. Remember how I said you were the student? Well, here you are the teacher, the spiritual teacher. And look what it's illuminating. The 3 of Wands. Optimism. I expect good things to happen, and they do. And they will. Especially if you're letting this energy go. If you've looked at it with a spiritual lens, or even the King of Pentacles, when he looks at a situation, he looks at it from the big picture. I feel like what it's saying is take the weight off of your shoulders. There was nothing you could have done differently. It just was what it was. It is what it is. But it should not have an opportunity to affect your present nor your future. This is saying to divine, I know my ships will come in their divine timing. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to be grateful for the energy I'm in right now. This is present day energy. And this Queen, I'm telling you, this is you speaking your truth. And that's that. I feel like I do. I feel like, and that's that. It doesn't matter whether they accept it or not. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know why I'm going to tell you this, but something is telling me to tell you this. After my divorce, it was kind of my fault. I went out one night and, was drinking and was with my girlfriends, and I saw a guy out on the dance floor, and I was like, oh my God, he's so beautiful. Like, I'd never seen a guy so beautiful, except for Sam. He reminded me of Sam. And then I asked him if he wanted to dance. It's like I asked the devil to dance because he turned out to be the devil. And it took me 5 years because this person he didn't become, he already was an abuser. Like, I mean, he was so abusive. I remember one night I just said, kill me already. Just kill me already. And, it's interesting because this was a long time ago, and I kind of was looking for a savior, but there was no one coming in to save me. So finally, one day, I grabbed the kids, we got on a bus. I mean, I didn't even have my own car then because I couldn't. Every job I worked, he got me fired. But anyways, I don't, again, please don't judge me, because I didn't know better. But my point of the story is one day I knew I had to leave that town because I had moved to like 10 different houses, and it didn't matter where I moved, he'd still find me and find a way in. So I moved back to my hometown. And I remember, I don't know if I called him, I think I called him. And it was just the strangest conversation because he's like, did you leave me? And I said to him, not only did I leave you, but I want you to know that I slept with every single one of your friends. He's like, what? He was mad. And I said, yep, every one of them. Now that did not happen. I did not do that. But I never told him that. I never told him that I didn't do that. I let him live with that. And in my young mind, it was my way of paying him back because he robbed 5 years of my life. Though, in a way, I invited the devil in. But anyways, I don't know why I'm telling you that, but I loved his response because it affected him in such a deep way. And that is how it ended. And it's funny because about, I don't know, 4 years ago, something just made me look up his name. And when I did, I found that he had passed away. And it said his girlfriend, Sandy, was by his side. I'm like, that son of a bitch. Or his wife. Or girl, I don't know. But I was just like, that son of a bitch. He got another Sandy. It made me mad. But anyways, not sure why I'm telling you all that. And I know morally it wasn't the right thing to do. But boy, did it feel good. You know what it felt like? It felt like a win after a lot of loss. Interesting, the moon again. Dreamy, dreamy, dreamy. So this Eight of Swords, I feel like that's what the reflection is about. I feel like you could very quickly, if you understand what I'm talking about here, then you can understand. And I get like putting up walls, right? Like I've just been through hell. And it's funny because when I moved back to my hometown, I said, I am not going to date. I'm done with love. I'm done with men. And then I went to the bar with my sister and a couple old friends. And oh no, I went on a date. Funny how I just said I wasn't going to date, but my brother was living with someone, and um, I was at my mom's, and my mom said, call your brother in town to bring over he borrowed the VCR, bring it back. The VCR. That's how old I am. So when he brought it back, it was his roommate who brought it back, and I answered the door, and he asked me out on a date. And I thought, well, what's it gonna hurt? But then we just connected. And I have to tell you, even though him and I are no longer together, we did spend 25 years together. And I know that he was my saving grace at the time. He was the right person at the right time for the right situation. It also had its expiration date. But I don't look back with regret. And I'm sorry I'm talking about myself. I know that drives some people crazy. Like, is this your reading? No, it's not my reading. But I feel like someone needed to hear that. I feel like what the Hermit is saying to you, instead of creating these barriers around you, let your spirituality guide you. Let your intuition guide you. You know, your intuition is right below that Six of Pentacles. So I feel like your intuition's been speaking to you already. But now I feel like you're really listening to it. And your guides would tell you, we get why you put up these walls. Don't shut down your life because of someone's lack. Reclaim your life. Reclaim your power in your life. And I'm not saying like, say, I want love, I want love. Because I don't feel like you have to say that. I feel like this Knight of Pentacles or this Knight of Cups, it's just going to happen. You know, I feel like every knight will complete their mission come hell or high water. I don't have to accept it. But there's something special about this because it's also connected to the Six of Cups and the moon. For some of you, this could be someone you've been dreaming about. And situations got in the way. But I feel for many of you, you're becoming free, single. And I do feel like you should pour your energy into your creative house because I feel like that's exactly what you're meant to do. You know, you have such a creative mind and spirit, and to let it shine is truly beautiful. And I do feel like you don't need anyone else to create money for you. And I don't even feel like you need, it's not like I have to have love, especially after what I just been through. But what I'm saying is that is not going to stop it. All right, I want to look right at the Knight of Cups. Wow, that didn't take long. Okay, so number one, hello, Ace of Pentacles. Literally means it's coming into your physical world. So this feels like someone you're going to run across. You're going to be in the right place at the right time. They're in the right place at the right time. I have a feeling both sets of guides are setting this up like you're on a spiritual setup, spiritual blind date, but you don't know it yet. But that's what this means. It's coming into your physical world. And the Ace of Pentacles to me is like a seed. If I nurture this seed, it will only grow and blossom. And then we have the Strength card. Heart of Leo. But this is your inner self. You know, the Strength card really becomes your courage. And it's because you've looked within oneself. You know, like, I know the beast within me. And when I say the beast, it could just simply mean the Eight of Swords. Like, I know it's there. I know it's there. And even though I don't want it to be there, I don't know if I can overcome it. This tells you you can. You know, and don't think healing is like overnight. It's a process. But here's the thing. Even if you're not 100% healed at this point, I do feel like you've spoken your piece. And I do feel like you're off to the next adventure, so to speak. And again, I feel like this Knight of Cups comes no matter what. Like, you're going to run into each other some way, somehow. Strength card is your courage. And that may be what you may want to put as the lesson title. Courage. This is how you get courage. Wow. Let's look at the King of Pentacles, because, you know, King or Queen, by the way. But, okay, we have the Death card. Card of Scorpio. Endings. But it really speaks about transformation. It is the closing of a door. But it is so a new door can open. It's almost like, is this king standing on the other side of that door? Though for some of you, it could simply represent a Scorpio. You know, I kind of hate giving signs because I don't want you to think that whoever this is, they must be a Scorpio or they must be Earth. They're going to have a combination of everything. I feel like this is a king who is on the other side of the door. Queen of Cups. And look at this, the Star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. This Queen, there she's cups, it's you. She's holding this cup. She may not even realize, oh, I'm holding my cup in front of me. Almost like offering that cup. This king is like, I will take that cup and match that cup. I can't help but feel that some of you, there's someone from yesteryear who, and how you'll know is I feel like you've either dreamt of them or you daydream or night dream about them. And what I mean by that is, you know, like when I lay my head, like with Sam, there, you know, like this wasn't my whole life, but there were times when I laid my head down on the pillow at night and I'd think about Sam and wonder what he was up to and how it would have been if the two of us stayed together. You know, I wasn't thinking about us being together because we lived in two totally different states. And for some reason, I just thought, well, he actually lived in my hometown, and that's why I'm kind of feeling for some of you like hometown energy. And I know I'm talking about myself again. Um, but that's what I mean, like, you know, well, some of you could have literally had dreams, and they may have been faceless dreams. That's interesting. Well, I'm not even gonna, well, I did have a dream about Sam before we actually, wasn't that long before we came together. Well, before he reached out. I took 5 years before I made the decision to move in with him. He asked me right away, but it took me a long time, but it was the right time. But I had a dream about him, and it was so freaking real. And it's interesting, in my dream, he was in the kitchen, standing at the kitchen sink, washing dishes. He had just cooked a meal. How interesting. I just realized that he's in the kitchen a lot. And I come up behind him a lot and hug him from behind. And that's what I did in my dream. Wow, I'm starting to have some realizations myself here. Okay, let's go ahead and bring out the clarifying love situations. I feel like we get the gist of what this is saying. So let's bring out the clarifying love situations and then the romance angels. And I'm sorry for those who hate tarot readers speaking about themselves. But the truth of the matter is, it is our experiences that help others. All right. And there's never, I shouldn't say never, but once I moved to Rhode Island, I'm from PA, and that's where I'm at now, and that's where Sam lived. That's my hometown. But anyway, I just assumed we were never going to be together. Navigate boundaries with grace, mastering the art of give and take in harmony. That is the lesson you've been learning. And here you have learned it. Navigate boundaries with grace, mastering the art of give and take in harmony. I feel like the only thing you were missing was the harmony. Wow. All right. We have gross guidance. Nurture your roots to fuel progress and rise beyond your dreams. Hello, chariot. What? 2 times, 3 times? Nurture your roots. That Ace of Pentacles literally shows roots. And that tells you that whatever this ace, which we were looking at the Knight of Cups, it means it can be rooted. And I feel when it's rooted, it can be forever. But this is not just talking about love here. This is also talking about your creativity, what you do in the world, and what you love to do. Last but not least, mask realities. Beyond posting facades and cover ups, dare to unveil the truth hidden beneath. Beyond, beyond, beyond posing facades and cover ups, dare to unveil the truth hidden beneath. Well, that's what we just did. That's exactly what we just did. All right, let's bring out the romance angels. I'm going to pick these up. Oh my God, I'm thinking, what am I going to title this? There's a lot going on. There's a lot about your growth, though. Once that wedge is out of that wheel, once you realize you have unlimited potential, baby, watch out for Gemini. Flirt. Extend your light-hearted energy to others. That would mean the walls of the Eight of Swords have come down. And then, wow, this could be the one. This could be the one. You already met the romantic partner you seek. Hello, Six of Cups and Knight of Cups. Now, remember, your soulmates. And this feels like it's divine timing. And I have a feeling they have gone through some difficult lessons themselves. But the reason why I'm saying they're soulmates is because I know not everyone has someone in this lifetime. But I do know that past life soulmates oftentimes come together in the next lifetime. Not every lifetime, because, let's face it, sometimes our soul comes down here and has different plans, different lessons I want to learn this lifetime. But I don't know how that couldn't be any better. This could be the one. You already met the romantic partner you seek. It's exactly how your reading is reading. All right. I'm going to leave it up. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you leave me your comments because I want to see where you're at in the reading, how it resonated with you. I already know it's not going to resonate with everyone. And listen, those who leave me messages that your readings are too long, they're not too long. You just don't have patience. And it's not that I want to put someone down, but I'm beginning a lot of them lately. And trust me, I don't take it to heart because I have to do things the way I have to do them. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way I read. And I couldn't imagine, like I could do one spread, do a reading, and let that be. And it may show you beautiful things. And that may be what someone wants to hear. But the truth of the matter is, how do we get there? That's what these readings are about. Not only to tell you where you've been or where you're going, but how to get there. What may need reflection. Like, this is real life. And real life has real miracles. And I'm telling you, you have gone from these lessons and you are moving into beautiful blessings. I feel it. I feel it so deeply. And I couldn't be happier for you. Each in their own divine timing, I'm sure. But in a way, I feel like it's sooner versus later. But you have a lot to do with that, right? It's like if I'm in a terrible relationship, yet I'm refusing to leave, will that keep that wedge in the wheel? Probably. When that wedge is removed, that becomes, to me, divine timing. To me, that's a symbol that this lesson is complete. Let's move on. All right, guys, I'm going to let that be. I love you. Thank you. I will see you next time at the reading. Please leave me your comments. I just love them. I just love them. And they give me confirmation, affirmation. Oh, I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Deep in my soul, I feel it for you. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, I just got done doing horoscopes. They're short, like 3 minutes. And I did it on a podcast. I'll try to remember to include yours at the end, like at as one of the end screens. So, yeah. Okay. I love you. Bye bye.